Hi, I'm Ashwati Chandran and I'm here at Riverbend Historical Park, Werribee, Victoria. The scenic beauty of the park with picturesque landscapes and Werribee River running through it is deeply enriching and provided me with a spiritual experience. On entering the park, I was enwrapped by the beauty of the mother nature. It was definitely a treat for my senses with the ripples in the water, the never-ending greeneries, the tweeting of the birds, the song of the trees, the fragrance of flowers, the different textures of bark, grass, and water. I was indubitably connected to the idyllic environment and more than human elements around me. The traditional owners here are Bunurong people of Aboriginal origin. Ham and Boucher encourages us to acknowledge the traditional landowners by making us describe a place from the Aboriginal knowledge perspective rather than the dominant colonial understanding and situate the place with histories and context but not just a geographical location. This place throws light on the diversities of Australian Aboriginal cultures, which is cardinal for early childhood educators as well as children in development. As Pilo says, to foster a love for a place, we must engage our bodies, hearts, and minds in a specific place. The intellectual and critical knowledge needs a foundation of sensual awareness, and for very young children, this is a starting place for other learning. I could identify infinite number of mathematical learning opportunities in this place, including geometrical patterns like straight and curvy lines on a park bench, arc form of slow points in the park, identification of a large hole in the fence, its curiosity, creativity, imagination, and risk assessment, the polygonal pattern in a pine cone, the difference in shape of the Cape well and the brick with which it is built and its numbers. As Lee proposes, mathematical knowledge of children require more explicit attention of teachers with adequate subject content knowledge and interest to make learning meaningful and enjoyable. I strongly endorse Perry et al. That educators who demonstrate curiosity, creativity, caring, responsibility, initiative mentality, and playfulness in everyday situations and interactions may promote the same among children and will include open-ended questions, incorporating elements of surprise, and scaffold their play environment for learning. Science, in my opinion, is collaborative and linked to mathematics. Understanding science by a child requires them to go through different steps, including encouraging discussion in science related topics, abstract ideas based on one's own experience, raise questions, observe and defend own ideas, which encourage them to arrive at conclusion and ask more questions to recognize the collective nature of science. As Lotto suggested, science is based on uncertainties, openness to possibilities, cooperation, intrinsic movement, and intentional action, of which first four are defined by play, and the addition of intentional action makes it science. As a student teacher, my observations include the difference in stagnant and flowing water, the synchronized flight of birds, the pine tree's close resemblance to a broccoli, the way birds and insects shelter in trees. Tree barks of southern blue gums or eucalyptus appear like nerves in human, impact of rust in environment, appearance of green and red leaves in a tree, wonderful appearance of mushrooms, different places where a plant can grow, a tree branching in all directions, unlike a plant growing straight up. In my point of view, children are agents who learn through play. They are capable and competent so that the young minds should be let free of all inhibitions to feel, to process new information, to imagine and create a fantasy world, to express their view about the place, to learn its entanglements, to make mistakes and misconceptions, to experiment with his findings, to correct themselves through his understandings, to think deeply into a subject rather than making ripples limited to the surface of a subject, to approach his environment fearlessly, and to make peace and understanding with it. Thinking about the flora and fauna, I couldn't help but appreciate the measures taken by Wyndham City Council to protect and preserve the heritage of this place.